Mercy. Now, here's the thing about Mercy. You know those films out there where you're like, hey, if I wasn't doing this, I might have not seen this in a theater. As much as I am, the movies are meant to be seen on the big screen no matter what. There are some films like this that are films that you could not spend. Because I understand there's some places where you had to spend, like, just the ticket alone, like $30 a ticket. So, understandably, you need to see, the best films ever for $30. And I would say this isn't as fine as it is. I think the film is fine. It does have issues. But fine. But this is a movie that you can wait till Amazon. I'm saying Amazon specifically because it is a MGM Amazon film. But I would like the premise of the film is quite interesting. So in the context of the film, it is a world where the justice system is quite different, where there isn't a trial in the more what we have trials in the real world, where there's a jury and a judge and the prosecutioner and the defendant and all that kind of stuff, and all that kind of stuff. What happens in the context of this film is, if you're accused of a crime, I guess a very serious crime like murder, you are strapped to a chair and you have to evince for 90 minutes. You have 90 minutes to prove your case, that prove your innocence to this AI judge who is judge, jury, and executioner. And by the way, the AI judge looks like Rebecca Ferguson, so might be a little bit distracting there as well. But but if you're accused of a crime, you have all the evidence. You have all the evidence that is towards you, that's proving you that you did the crime. And if you are able to, if you're unable to prove you're innocent, you die. You die. And that's where we find Chris Pratt's character, who's our main character, that he is accused of murdering his wife, and he has to prove his innocence. And immediately you're like, okay, we understand the stakes, we understand the world, we understand what's happening, we understand what's on. Like, okay, we got a ticking clock, literally a ticking clock. We got 90 minutes, and the clock is ticking. We have you can play detective along with our main character, trying to figure out, okay, if that means does that mean does that mean that character did it, or did our main character actually do it, and all that. I mean, sure, they do ham it up a little bit in certain areas, and there's also a little bit of pettiness with a certain aspect to it, where, I mean, okay, spoiler alert, that Chris Pratt's this character has a drinking problem. He's one of those people who are off the wagon, on the wagon, and to show that he's on the wagon, you get the camera out of my face, and keeps punching things and slamming things. And I'm like, there has to be other ways to show how unhinged this character is, unhinged, how alcohol is not good for him. And showing that when he is a different person when he's on the bottle. When he's drunk, he gets angry. He gets reckless. There has to be other ways than just doing that, getting that thing. Like, it's just really I was like, guys, you probably could find another way, but you've sensed, okay, and then you are playing along, and you're like, okay, so there is a sense of, okay, understand stakes, understand what we have here. You can the audience can play along with it, like you're finding out at the same time as a main character. So there's all these things in it that works in this film, and also having a dead-eye Rebecca Ferguson, looking at the screen, kind of also adds the tension, knowing the stakes there, because it's kind of like also like a half of those movies where it's just a computer screen, like I don't know, like unfriended, where it's like social media accounts and Stipe. Remember when Stipe was his name? When Zoom meetings and all that kind of stuff. It's a bit of that. So you're having like a hologram screenshot of I don't know, emails, and on the left is a dead eye, a Becca Ferguson, and we're all like, I'm like, I don't know, having AI looking at you, staring at you, basically death is staring you at the face. You get the sense of the stakes already. And that. Now, as I said, it's not perfect. The third act kind of gets a little bit ridiculous. Like, the third act really gets ridiculous. Like, they try and make it like this big steam, like make the murder mystery is larger than it actually is, and you just go, I get you want to do the revenge plot, but really? We're going to do that? And also, there's like a twist on a twist on a twist. And you're like, okay, why? I mean, I'm like, why are we doing this? Like, it is one of those movies where it's like, okay, everything works, yeah, I'm following along. And then by the third act, it's like, okay, you got a neat action sequence going on using security cameras, and we have like drones and all that kind of stuff for this car chase. I'm like, okay, this is an interesting way to do it, like a car chase. But as like the reasoning why it's happening, I'm like, okay, this, like, our villain is now a Bond villain, or is the Joker like also like, it's like something you will find in a Batman comic of like what the main villain does. And then there's like a twist on a twist on a twist, and I'm like, come on, guys. You don't have to. And in a way, you could see a mile away about it, because the performance of that character is so damn flat, and there's no urgency from the performance. It's like, oh, I'll meet you there. It's not like, oh, I'll meet you there, and then like, what is, and then, or they walk. It's like they're walking to the situation. No, you run, or you fast walk. That's what you do. You show your urgency, and it's like, you got this one character who seems like doesn't care what's happening, and that. There's a bit of shaky cam. In this movie, definitely at the end, when we step away from camera village, from police cams and security cams and all that. It's now a more additional film, but which that doesn't work for the big final fight, and that. But it's like, the first two acts kind of work. It's just the third act kind of makes everything drop apart when everything turns into a like a when the once again your villain has like a Bond, like a Bond villain plot, and that. I honestly, you could just have the car chase. You didn't have to do the actual reasoning. I mean, okay, and that, but anyway, and also the thing I also like is the idea of like, hey, our main character doesn't believe he knows he didn't do it, and finding out the information and knowing how he cares about his wife, maybe finding out where he failed as a husband and a father, and how it hurts him and how much he cares about it, and that works as well. But yeah, and the performances are pretty good for our main two. And that. There's some typical AI stuff about like, oh, spoiler, halfway through, the AI is starting to have a consciousness. Um, yeah, the AI, and doesn't really go full board with it until the third act. Like, I don't know, there's a bit of that, but there's some typical stuff going on. Um, I want like the big reveal at the end. Yeah, who the villain was, who did it. I was like, fine. I was like, okay. Like I didn't saw a mile away, but it was at the same time a bit like, okay, that's the guy. There wasn't a sense of you go and get him. There wasn't a sense of also that sense of urgency. I felt like what the urgency went away by the third act. Well, maybe because once again it kind of went ridiculous. Anyway, if you see Mercy, comment below. Let me know your thoughts.